Le voy a pasar la palabra en primer lugar a Chico Whitaker, miembro de la Comisión Brasileña de Justicia y Paz de la Coalición por un Brasil Libre de Plantas Nucleares.
Buenas tardes, yo voy a hablarles en portuñol.
Speak in Portuñol, so to say. You may understand a Spanish speaker. First of all, I would like to thank you for this invitation, this opening of the World Anti-Nuclear Social Forum. Our fourth forum is really an honor to me. But also, I'm happy because this forum shows that we are making steps forward, slowly, but forward, in our effort of many of us to articulate at the world level our actions against this craziness of nuclear plants and the craziness of bombs. Nuclear bombs. This is the fourth forum. And along these lines, the first was organized on the basis of the decision made by Japanese anti-nuclear activists that held a meeting in Tunis in the 2015 World Social Forum. They made this decision of organizing the first anti-nuclear World Social Forum in March 2016 in Tokyo. After that, another came in Canada in August 2016 inside the World Social Forum. The third was organized in France in November 2017, and there the anti-nuclear Iberian movement participating in that forum, they assumed the challenge of organizing this we are holding now. Nobody should ignore that anti-nuclear struggle cannot rely on the inner borders of every country. The powerful nuclear lobby is planetary. The leaders of the nuclear industry meet all the time, systematically. They count of many groups and associations to implement the decisions. You can counter and even triumph over this industry only in one country, like it happened in Germany and also in another European countries because of referenda or because of the decision of their governments. They are making this decision of closing nuclear power plants or not building more ones. But for Brazil, I am a Brazilian, as I said, we are pretty weak to face the official propaganda machine with all the resources they count on, and some of our struggles are even against absurd things, against good sense, because now a decision has been made of reassuming the building of 2,000 kilometers away from the biggest Brazilian cities of the third nuclear plant project, with an obsolete project that was elaborated in the 60s, before then of the melting of the core of the accident of 3 Mile Island, and also before the Chernobyl accident, and just a little bit before the Fukushima one. with this project that is before the accidents and the melting of reactors is so absurd, it should be at least updated. Nonetheless, it is clear that we will be defeated in a struggle in Brazil if, for instance, this is just a hypothesis, the workers of the nuclear industry of the countries that manufacture the equipment, France and Germany, if they don't struggle not to be accomplices of this crime that they are preparing in Brazil. The industry will survive if they happen to triumph in the less informed countries of the third world. World pressure through the internet, we are claiming an audit of this project in Brazil. It's been supported throughout the world. I'm going to ask you here to support this audit proposal. But we are going to even try in the next weeks to have judiciary measures to stop this craziness. But the lobby is pretty strong in Brazil. Even more now with a government that, as you know, sadly won the last elections with the help, of course, of lies and manipulation of also uninformed citizens. But this is not the subject here. I should tell you that, of course, I'm not a young man, but I'm pretty new in the anti-nuclear struggle. I was awakened to this struggle because of the Fukushima catastrophe. I was going to be 80 years old that year. So I'm just 8 years old in this struggle. It wasn't my field of work and study. I knew barely what an atom was, and even less about radioactivity. I was participating, among other things, of many of action, social issues, and in the effort of creating the spaces of the World Social Forum and the enlargement of this process that has provoked the creation of national and regional social fora, and lately of thematic social forum like this we are in. But I've learned a lot throughout these 8 years, asking, listening to, reading. And in Brazil, 2 organizations have been created, the Coalition for a Free of Nuclear Energy Brazil. This is get out of here means so nucleais. This association, and also an alliance, a regional Brazilian alliance. This was created after Fukushima. And this learning, this apprenticeship, has given me a clear consciousness of the dimension, of the size of our challenge. The world is today under the pressure of a populist right that has already won many places. For these governments and for the public that choose them, they care for the climate issue doesn't bother them much, because they consider it just as something that hinders the possibility of more profit. Same way, the nuclear industry for them is a good business. Also, the uranium mining is a good export commodity. So for them to speak to the public in general, to these people, to the citizens, about radioactivity, about the risks of radioactivity. In Brazil, when somebody speaks nonsense, they say that they speak Chinese. Speaking about nuclear power plant security, catastrophic accident, is eccentric, is bizarre, is foolish for this public opinion. Speaking of nuclear waste, what to do with them, the fact that nuclear power plants produce electricity and nuclear waste. Even among our ranks, activists, so little of them has a clear consciousness, awareness of what the threat, the risks are with nuclear power, because they have to care of many other issues. The survival of democracy, for instance, even the democratic elections is under threat because of the fake news and so on. But even more, you have the social activists that are still under the influence of the military about national defense, with the use of nuclear bombs. This was the propaganda of the 50s and the Cold War. And the Cold War, the mastering of technology and uranium was key. So we are still far away in our countries, in the third world countries, of an experience like they had in Vietnam. I don't know if you are aware of this. Imagine that an international experts group that knows the risks of this is able to convince a government, the government of Vietnam, about renouncing, giving up on the attempt to build nuclear power plants. We only have the popular pressure, the popular struggle as the only tool we have to convince our leaderships that they must realize that they don't have the right to impose this tragic adventure on us. Our challenge, hence, where we meet in this kind of forums, is to awaken more people that are ready to exert this popular pressure. Beyond any discussions about nuclear power, our issue here, our problem here, is to raise the consciousness of more people for this struggle. If we may get out of this forum with new ideas, with new bets, with new challenges to awaken more people, we will be able to sleep more calmly. These are my vows for this opening of this forum. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Chico. Ahora